Good evening and thanks for joining us. It's News Hour live here on GBC24 and GTV. My name is Emmanuel Amagashi.
And I am Micheline Taka. You welcome. Now the news in details. The Electoral Commission EC has set Sunday 4th December for the continuation of the special voting exercise. This follows a meeting with the top hierarchy of the Ghana Police Service and an emergency meeting of the Inter-Party Advisory Committee IPAG on Thursday, December 1st, 2016. A statement signed by the EC's head of communications, Mr. Eric Kofi-Jakwasu, said, in most of the cases, those whose names could not be found on the voters list were those who did not take advantage of the earlier transfer window to transfer their votes to the constituencies where they wished to vote. This was the reason why such persons were assigned by the Commission to constituencies where they registered to vote. The exercise was fraught with mishaps. Many security officials were unable to trace their names in the list submitted to the designated polling centers by the Commission.
Then secondly, we had security officers who were outside their constituencies and then wanted to vote in constituencies other than places where they are registered.
Some of the party agents that we spoke to yesterday were saying that what the EC officials had were not the same as what they had.
No, we are all holding the same list. You know what happened was that there was an earlier list. Now on that earlier list was about the same as the deployment list of the police. And on that list, people's names were in the areas where they were to work on election day. So the assumption was that they could vote in those areas. But the final list for the exercise actually came where people's names were put in their various constituencies.
Now that the transfer of vote period is over, does it mean that even on Sunday, most of those were not able to transfer their votes? They still have to go to their constituencies?
That is exactly the decision. You know, yesterday we met with the top hierarchy of the police. This was clearly discussed and agreed upon, after which we came to the IPAC for endorsement. Then we are now with the media for education. So, that is exactly so. You must go back to your constituency to vote on Sunday.
To the northern region now, the National Democratic Party NDP says an NDP government under the leadership of Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings would place people at the center of development, create jobs and a society sensitive to the needs of vulnerable groups. The party's campaign team was at Salaga in the East Gonja district of the region to canvass for votes.
NDP's campaign team, led by the presidential candidate Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings, was at Salaga in the East Gonja district to spell out the party's visions and policies to the traditional authorities and the people. The deputy women's leader of the National Democratic Party, Hajia Salah, said the National Democratic Party is the best option for Ghanaians because it is committed to ensuring a thriving economy where wealth is generated by the people. Addressing the Deba, the flag bearer of the party, Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings, stressed that NDP's aim is to embark on an industrialization program for the local and international markets. She said every region or district will have a factory to add value to agricultural products peculiar to the area if she's given the nod.
It is historical. Say a quine be every imagine ukre and amebua Oba enkofa sika any sofa. This way ya be maybe din anim say kofa o no di mika no kofa. Minuanom min ma me no me ma mama ya ni mre na ye hu say yansesa aban ya ahoto emada
At Bolibamboy, also in the northern region, the NDP campaign team addressed party faithful. Nana Akonedo Agyemang Rawlings urged the electorate not to be complacent during the elections, but go all out and vote for the NDP on December 7.
8 years. Elise, ye free through ebe free from sa. Say ya dani se kosua bia. Obi eja yemu e wo soro. Abebo from na pai na anwea abemu. Ye dia enye yie. Wo se sa enye yie. Enti na ede na obeye. Afi we ede na obeye. Ede na obeye. Ye besi semu.
The National Democratic Party says its government will have dedicated and selfless leadership that places the people of Ghana over politics and that ensures freedom for all people. For GBC24, Oforiwa Dakon reported.
The National Democratic Party's campaign trail was also in the Upper East and Upper West regions to garner support as the polls draw near. The flag bearer of the party, Nana Akonedo Agyemang Rawlings, said the party has plans to work to make the city strong, robust and resilient enough to withstand the pressures of leading world currencies.
At Bolgatanga in the Upper East region, the women's leader of the National Democratic Party, Hajia Salah, asked all party supporters to vote en masse for the party on December 7. The presidential candidate of the NDP, Nana Akonedo Agyemang Rawlings, reiterated the need for Ghanaians, especially women, to support a woman leader who has the vision to make Ghana a better place for all.
So, if you wouldn't me, Nanso, so man do betum pon if ni protestro no won na be ma o man no etum pon ni protestro no anya ne me fata ye den ye tu ye na ba ko ni ye tu ye na miensa akoyechi ni ye tu ba ko ni ase tu miensa akoyechi nti esa e den ye we reverse all the time ye koyechi ye constitution ye book no e ma ye chance o ma ye sa chance no says the Obiabaso na on bono womodia ye beye den ye best son we will change the person. I will change your lives. Mercy sa ma sitine mu amamu. Mercy sa mujire bia amamu. Mama Ghana apeja me ho bio afa kwan paso. Na ye nyina ye nya ahoto.
At Fillmore in the Sisala East District of the Upper West region, the General Secretary of the party, Alhaji Mohammed Frimpong, said if given the nod, the NDP government will establish skills training centers in every district.
Yentuma number 2, presidential candidate, Dr. Mrs. Nana Akonedo Agyemang Rawlings. And number 3, Henry Asong Lian.
The flag bearer of the NDP, Nana Akonedo Agyemang Rawlings, said the NDP government will support graduates in the private communities with funds to start their own businesses and encourage the formation of cooperatives along the 31st December Women's Movement organization model.
Oba enya kwan efa omai kuta ema ne ema ye yie pa ebema ntobuase ekroye edwuma yapomudin yesika sem ni nyina ye de betutu yie oba bia eni wa wudi ade hye ne nsa obefa e de tumrika akwakodi wo beebi oni na busuafo nkwa da bi obehwe se oman na de no obohu eban eyie.
Nana Akonedo Agyemang Rawlings said the party will make decentralization work again by allowing district assemblies to decide on where to site their projects by competent assembly members. For GBC24, Oforiwa Dakon reporting.
In other news, flower growers have received training on the best practices in the floricultural industry to make Ghana viable. An international flower expert from the Netherlands, Chris Hogendam, in his assessment says Ghana can rake in huge foreign exchange, establishing flower and garden centers that offer a one-stop shopping experience. A report by Sarah Ofori.
It was the first of such training sessions held for growers whose roles are not only to create jobs and generate income, but protect the environment and beautify the surroundings. An initiative of the convener of the Ghana Flower Show, Strategic Communications Africa, in collaboration with the Biotechnology and Nuclear Agriculture Research Institute of the Ghana Atomic Energy. The session was to equip the local growers to make the floricultural industry competitive.
In Africa, Kenya, Ethiopia, and South Africa, we find that the industry provides employment for hundreds and thousands of their citizens, if not millions. And the industry also annually brings in millions of foreign exchange for their country. We in Stratcom Africa also believe that this is possible in Ghana too.
The Netherlands is known as the flower haven of the world. Its embassy in Accra is a major stakeholder supporting the Ghana flower growers and the garden flower movement in building their capacity.
Planet without plants, without flowers and without trees, isn't that terrible? We cannot live in that. It's impossible. It's very basic. I love flowers, plants and trees. And I love, therefore, more of them. And also more of them, of course, here in Ghana.
Technical knowledge, soil analysis, getting rid of viruses and promotion are areas where the Ghana flower growers are lagging behind. Dutch flower expert Chris Hogeden noted that Ghana's specialty of planting flowers in pots also makes them lose out in competing globally. He advised the establishment of a center for a one-stop shopping experience for its consumers.
The moment that you are able to sell your products in more centralized places where you have everything, you can improve your promotion. You could say, this is the plant of the month. We have additional quantities in special colors. This is the plant of the month. And then you can advertise, market something which you cannot do as your relatively small nursery that you have now. Another thing you could do when you look to garden centers nowadays, you can call it consumer experience. People go there to look at all the nature that has been created. And there's coffee shops. There's even small restaurants.
The southern and eastern African countries are leading the floricultural industry in Africa. Although Ghana is said to be endowed with rare flower and plant species, they are yet to be discovered and harnessed. Participants expressed the desire to explore cut flowers, another specialty of the floricultural industry, but appealed that developers must preserve the ecosystem of plant and flower varieties before developing the lands.
Mrs. Lodina Mahama has appealed to caregivers at orphanages to take good care of children in their care. She said children are a blessing and therefore it is important to give them the grounding they need to stand in good stead in society. The First Lady made these remarks when she presented assorted food items and products to some orphanages in the Bunahafo and the northern regions of Ghana.
The Frank May Children's Home in the Bonaf region currently has 39 inmates with 17 outside the home. Most of the children here were brought from the Social Welfare, Please and the Holy Family Hospital. Most of the children adopted by the First Lady in the home are either in the universities or other tertiary institutions. The young ones have also been enrolled in various schools. Mrs. Lodina Mahama said it is fulfilling that her efforts are yielding results. The First Lady was also at Bethesda Children's Home. This home has 12 children, with most of them at the advanced stages in their education. The founder of the home was grateful for the First Lady's support for the past 8 years. The First Lady also visited Let the Kids Smile Children's Home, which is also in the Bonafu region. Interacting with her children, she entreated them to aspire to greater heights. With support from the Lordina Foundation, the First Lady has for the past 8 years supported the Tamale Children's Home in diverse ways. Though the home is funded by government, the home has 24 inmates with ages ranging from 3 months to 18 years. Apart from the food items, a dormitory block almost completed is under construction. The home supervisor, Madam Augustina Kwenu, was grateful for the support over the years. The First Lady has an emotional attachment to Amfani, a home made up of only babies. The babies here are mostly abandoned or their mothers died at birth. Some are brought in as young as 1 week old. One of the challenges facing the home is that family members barely check up on the babies when they bring them. Those who visit are not regular. The First Lady spent time with all the babies. The administrator of the home, Mohammed Abdul Razak, thanked the First Lady for the support. Mrs. Lordina Mahama entreated the caretakers to treat the babies just as they would treat their own. She said their good works will attract God's blessings. Mrs. Lordina Mahama later presented the home with new sets of baby's coat, toys and food items. For GBC24, Mavis Ofei Champong reporting.
It's still News Hour. The Greater Accra Regional Minister, Nilaye Afote Agbo, has cautioned the youth against indulging in drug abuse. He said the upsurge in illicit drug dealing and drug use in second cycle institutions is alarming. It therefore behoves the management of senior high schools to educate students on the harmful effects and dangers associated with drug abuse.
Nyungwa Senior High School was established in 1958 by the late Nikwe Taria with 5 students. The late Nikwe Taria started the school to provide secondary education to the community. He converted his own private residence into classrooms, administration block, and staff bungalows. The state took over the school in 1960. The headmistress of the school, Cecilia Boatin, said though the school is doing well, it lacks infrastructural development, especially classrooms, to enable it to admit more students. She said another challenge facing the school is encroachment. Most of the school's lands have been taken over by private developers. There is also the problem of noise pollution in the area, which is not conducive for effective teaching and learning. Madame Boatin said lack of staff accommodation is also affecting the smooth running of the school since tutors have to travel long distances to the school. She appealed for support to ameliorate these challenges.
After 3 o'clock every school day, vendors virtually take over the school, to trade their wares. Our appeal for intervention to relocate such noise makers and tone them down has not yielded any positive results so far.
The Greater Accra Regional Minister, Nilaye Afote Agbo, said the government considers education as very important, for which reason it is constructing community day senior high schools to offer more students the opportunity to access secondary education. He advised students to concentrate on their books in order to be responsible people in the future.
The rising incidence of drug abuse and the threatening dimensions that illicit drug dealings has taken in schools, second cycle institutions, has become a cause for alarm in the country lately. Indeed, the consequences of the situation on the political and socio-economic development of the country have been devastating, and it is sad to note that the youth who are the future of this country have already become the target group for this trade.
Some teachers and students who distinguished themselves in various ways were awarded
A rather sad story. Some members of a crew from the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation sustained various degrees of injuries when the bus on which they were traveling got involved in an accident on the Tema motorway this morning. They were rushed to the Tema General Hospital for treatment. The team was on its way to the Volta region to provide media coverage for a national event.
The accident occurred at the toll booth on the motorway when the GBC bus, which was in a convoy, stopped suddenly because the toll collector pulled down the boom barrier. The second bus behind hit the bus ahead. An eyewitness gave an account of what happened.
Even though by the time I was so moved, say, so I was so moved because or joining because you don't know say a big crowd at the camera, a probably or
Faustina Kobna, the toll collector, admitted that she mistakenly pulled down the bar because she did not see the GBC bus following the convoy. The 13 crew members on board, who sustained various degrees of injuries, were rushed to the Tema General Hospital for treatment. The Director General of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, Dr. Kwame Kufuanof Nto, visited the victims at the hospital.
It's still news are live on GBC24 and Ghana Television. We go for a quick break. We're back shortly. Do stay with us.
All Ghanaians involved and vote in the 2016 elections to choose your president and your parliamentarians.
Omenya abatu wajuma electoral commission oto South Ghana nipa biara abacho ndin eto aba na yeye no se ukuda bronya bosom ne da etuso December 7 2016 yo mampan ene ma sha begwafo abato eni nti obiara fa ni kire da bia o kire ndin na ba bia we transfer ndin ko se obeto aba na koto wa aba efi anopa no nson kosi enwumre no num kai na wo kwa fa voters ID card kura do abato bia ana polling station di something ana line so kama osi se bedu so ai so se obema nipa bia we di dem ene won ekeka hunu kwanso nku ewo abato na se edu so a fa wo abato ID card ma abato krachi ewo funa ID card no obedi kan ahwe obenkum nsati aketewa na wu se ndu aba no bi wo be biara onua be se udin wo abato wu nanu ana owia odo nsati abato biometric afiri no so ya hwe se wo se fata se wo do aba bi ana se wodo nsati ano to afiri no so impompi na emfa nya botaru efise wo fe kwanfoforo so de ehu se wo fata se wo to aba no ana opuna edi wo no obema wo do nsaketewa no egura indelible link no edi wo ne se wo be kwa akogye wo abato krata ID kan eyo omampan abato de no hwe na wo nsati a wo di egura ink no mu no anyankeke biara ewo sa krata no so eba sa wonye ukrata no nturu ansa na abato krata de abato krata be sha wo nsa no de stamp gesi achi se sa stamp ni krata na chi a empire won fa stamp ni si achi na enyimu uyi isi stamp no to nchen a ensa senkeke biara ba krata no be biara eba sa wo be yi ukrata na to nchen wo se biara da no komu a wo betumi etu anamon akwa abato adaka edika nu na makoto abama omampan a openo se wo sa adaka ni ma wo ni fa kokrobeti emia impa da isi nchen no so na fati mo nipa akose kuto abama no infoni ana na ga hye de nchen hwe na kokrobeti no antran ko fi obi dimu eba sa wo be yi wo de na fim ya fatisi paper wo de be ma ho no keka won sakama se ne be na yinkini bi nkoka abato krata no be biara eba sa nso a wo be yi afim se wo bubo wa abato krata na wo di kan ebu mutintin ansa na wo bu ma bien ba wo krata edi kan no koto adaka wa chiro presidential no ya wo ko sa hye kuru na ramu edi akoto ma hye abegwafo dem wo pe fi police station wo emom se wo ho bia oni abato krata no nkasa oni ajamra to sem se wan chire wudin na wo be ko se wo koto aba anasa wudi obi a wo oniyo edin be ko se wo koto aba wo so mu a mra no be di ne kai se afi omampanyin no mra sha begwafo abato no ebeba so guda December da to so so efi anopa no so ekosi anwumre no num musampa.
Your vote is your power.
I remember those rough days when all I had were ideas. Everybody kept me down. All I kept hearing was, "Oh, that's a good idea, but sorry, we don't have money." Then a strong, decisive woman came to our community and started empowering us. She didn't make any promises. She just did it. And she is the reason why my business is running today. She is Nana Konedu Ajiman Rollins. Ghana deserves a leader who put us first So vote National Democratic Party.
NDP, our nation, our future.
Welcome back to the business segment. Selected farmers from 5 districts across the country have undergone a day's field tour. The farmers visited Shamo farms where they acquainted themselves with latest technologies in pig farming.
Over the years, the Social Investment Fund (SIF) under the Integrated Rural Development Project (IRDP) has supported farmers across the nation to increase output. The goal is to help raise household incomes and provide employment through enhanced farming, marketing and distribution in the agricultural production value chain. This time round, the support was in the form of capacity building and provision of extension services to farmers and farmer-based organizations. The field tour was aimed at encouraging farmers to adapt innovations, employ good agricultural practices, and reinforce knowledge transfer services. The beneficiary farmers were drawn from Ho West, Ga West, Efija Kwabre, Wa West, and Upper Daintra West. Farmers from Efija Kwabre and Upper Daintra West visited Shamo farms at Trede in the Ashanti region. They toured a traditional piggery and a new technology piggery to compare and contrast. During the exploration time, the farmers were given the opportunity to ask relevant questions. A consultant at Shamo Farms, Reverend Akwesi Ado Domfe, said the new technology being employed has reduced production costs and increased production. A participant, Mrs. Catherine Osei-Tutu from Aeromix Farms, said the experiences will position her outfit to increase income levels.
The way that they have made it the place very, very neat, that they may also not get any sickness from surrounding.
The Executive Director of Social Investment Fund, Mr. Joe Echampon, promised continuous support to farmers, urging them to take advantage of the tour.
One of the issues that we thought was physically for the farmers to also see how people started, where they started from and now where they are, just to encourage them to do their work.
Beneficiary farmers pledged to put their experience into good use and share the knowledge acquired with their colleagues.
Ghana will need $21 billion in investment to finance its climate mitigation and adaptation actions from now to 2030. Addressing the 6th Annual Environmental and Natural Resources Summit in Accra, the representative of Ghana's development partners, Paulo Dalla Stella, said the $21 billion would help the country to achieve optimum results when it comes to the fight against climate change.
In Ghana, the agricultural and food economy are already under threat as local farmers reel under the severity of the weather. Achieving a 2 degrees Celsius global temperature target is ambitious, but means for adaptation and mitigation remain critical to the vulnerable. This requires Ghana to implement the action plan to tackle climate change. In all, 20 mitigation and 11 adaptation program of actions in 7 priority economic sectors are being proposed for implementation in the 10-year period from 2020 to 2030. Sustainable land use, including food security, climate-proof infrastructure, equitable social development, sustainable mass transportation, sustainable energy security, sustainable forest management, and alternative urban waste management are some of the areas considered as priority under this scheme. And this is why players from the environment and the natural resources sector have met to review the performance of the sector on how to bring environmental degradation under control and also to see how to effectively implement the Climate Action Plan, which was adopted by the country at COP21 summit in Paris. According to the Chief Director of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, Professor Bruce Banoy Yakubu, Ghana's arable lands are under threat from climate change effect, coupled with other human activities such as illegal mining.
It is very important for us as we sit here to deliberate, to reflect our roles in environmental damage, forest degradation, deforestation, illegal activities that impact extensively on climate change. We don't have time as a country.
The Director for Environment at the Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, Mr. Frederick Ajiman, called for collaboration between the government and the private sector to tackle climate change and its impact on the country. A representative of Ghana's development partners in climate change, Paulo Della Stella, said government must show more commitment to the fight against climate change.
To fully implement Ghana's commitment on climate change, $21 billion will be required until 2030. And we have noticed in all these policies and plans that a lot is expected of donors. 30% of the $8 billion required to implement the forestry master plan are expected to come from donors. Now, let me state that development partners are willing and fully committed to support the implementation of these policies. However, we should also recognize that the fact that with Ghana being a lower middle income country, the type of development assistance provided to the country is changing and will continue to change.
The long-term goal of Ghana's adaptation is to increase climate resilience and decrease vulnerability for enhanced sustainable development, and the country will require $12.79 billion for adaptation. $4.21 billion will be mobilized at the national level, while the remaining $8.29 billion is expected from development partners to meet the cost of implementing its adaptation actions.
The Export-Import Bank, Exim Bank Ghana, has been launched to bolster government's quest for an aggressive and sustainable export-led economy. The Exim Bank has long been described by the government as a tool to improve the country's economy through exports. Launching the Exim Bank Ghana, the Finance Minister, Mr. Sid Tekbe, said the bank is the government's initiative to sustainably support the private sector and other state enterprises to scale up the country's exports.
The launch of the Ghana Exim Bank today is a bold effort to magnify the long-standing quest for promoting non-traditional exports in this country. It is expected to perform the following key functions. First, to provide the business community with requisite trade and investment credit or loans for the export market, in particular, but with some latitude for financing corresponding import trade, in particular, imports of inputs for our export-oriented industries. Excuse me. To complement secondly, the primary financing strategy, it will have to adopt a vigorous guarantee program for the businesses that will establish a credible debt repayment plan with trading partners that are willing to deal with them on extended credit or repayment basis. To discharge these functions effectively, the Ghana Exim Bank is required to collaborate closely with diverse institutions and programs that include the following, and it's not exhaustive: the Ghana Standards Authority and Food and Drugs Authority, to ensure that our exporters meet the requisite standards for regional, continental, and overseas markets, notably those of ECOWAS, Asia, Europe, and the Americas. And in this context, it is important to mention two initiatives, ongoing initiatives, AGWA 2 and the EBA.
Still in the business segment, on the interbank market, the pound is selling at 5 cedis 1 pesewa, the US dollar at 4 cedis 3 pesewas, and the euro is also trading at 4 cedis 27 pesewas.
Elections are everything but dull. The rallies are massive and exhilarating. Radio and TV shows are exciting and we speak our minds with clarity. Politicians make promises with certainty. But we must keep our eyes on the bigger picture. As we gather to discuss issues of concern during the 2016 elections campaign season, we must speak to those we disagree with in a tolerant and respectful manner. And when the day comes, let's go to our local polling stations, join the queues, wait our turn, and vote peacefully for our preferred candidate. And when the dust settles, Ghana must be the only winner. As citizens, this responsibility to our country is sacred. Shun violence, vote in peace, love Ghana.
My Ghana be ye carry 2000 ni MPP be Ghana me ke mai wa petrol wonye wo wo shi daje na me ba na me petrol no bum 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 ke awo ameka ni tumo wa na ni me atolai se ni ma atolai na nu ya me ka political talk me ka gba me no me na me be ko ke wa fon shiki wa me ka je ni mo ni je chale po e wo na spon lo Patika sobe fra utuma e ati enidin ni wo tekufo ke akafi eje esa ma sibaja fi paano alo ka wo pene kwa waka wote e na fi numa koni ekesa ma koni ma ya no ma swele bona fa ni wo bi ka wo nne ni na ni tumo na mbatwe na me na ni tumo ko na metu ye won ka nyeme nyanya no nyale jen twaso.
Vote for honest, pragmatic and decisive leadership. Vote for John Mahama and the NDC. JM Twaso.
Within communities in the Upper West, Upper East and Northern regions. This is to expand access to basic health care. Hence, a memorandum of understanding has been signed between JICA and the Ministry of Health to affirm the pact.
For the past 10 years, the Japan International Cooperation Agency (JICA) has improved on the delivery of maternal, neonatal and child health care services in the Upper West region. This time round, JICA intends to construct over 64 CHIPS compounds each in the Upper West, Upper East and Northern regions within the next 5 years. The focus of this gesture is to further improve on maternal, neonatal and child health, as well as mitigate infectious diseases and other emerging health issues prevalent in the various regions. At a ceremony in Accra, the Ministry of Health and JICA signed a memorandum to that effect.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Minister.
The Chief Representative of JICA, Mr. Koji Makino, explained the rationale for selecting the 3 regions of the north.
Northern part of this country unfortunately suffer from the situation of the health of the sector. That's why we are very much concentrate on our cooperation into northern area.
The Minister for Health, Mr. Alex Segbefia, said the move was in the right direction.
Almost every community should have a CHIPS compound, and that will be your first port of call normally when you have an ailment. The idea of CHIPS is for it to be community-based, and that the health personnel that are in the CHIPS compound should be able to go out into the community and have a rapport and get to know everyone within their community.
The CHIPS compounds will decentralize and make primary health care more accessible.
Experts say the problem of malnutrition, being underweight and having stunted growth is an age-old problem. Over the years, the government has spent millions of cedis in an effort to correct this. It is estimated that about 1.2 million Ghanaians barely have access to food. The Netherlands Development Corporation, SNV, is therefore supporting the government with its Voice for Change project and trained some journalists to be advocates to to drum home the needed awareness to change the situation.
The journalists were taken through nutrition and food security, touching on post-harvest losses management and sustainable nutrition for all. Other areas discussed are water, sanitation and hygiene, and renewable energy, with a focus on sustainable energy services lanterns and improved cook stoves to underserved communities. The experts say the issue of malnutrition has an economic impact on the country, and money spent on rehabilitating people suffering from chronic malnutrition can be channeled into other fields. According to the SNV, their aim is to work with agencies and departments under the National Nutrition Policy in the implementation process.
In the post-harvest loss management, there are large volumes of staple crops that are lost in the field, and this loss starts right from the production right to the homes. So what we intend to do through our research to actually do an analysis of the losses and the economic the volume of loss and the economic implication of this loss along the value chain.
There are a number of government departments that are supposed to work together to ensure that we achieve a comprehensive development process in ensuring food and nutrition security. So we'll be engaging more with these departments at the national level and at the local level to make sure that policies that are formulated are implemented at the community level or at the district level.
The Voice for Change program will run for 5 years.
We take a break. We're back with more news.
I remember those rough days when all I had were ideas. Everybody kept me down. All I kept hearing was, "Oh, that's a good idea, but sorry, we don't have money." Then a strong, decisive woman came to our community and started empowering us. She didn't make any promises. She just did it. And she is the reason why my business is running today. She is Nana Konedu Ajiman Rollins. Ghana deserves a leader who will put us first. So vote National Democratic Party.
NDP, our nation, our future.
Nanado I have known for about 60 years. He's been a leader standing up to challenge wrongs. The party picked him. Behind him, we would have formidable running mate, Mahmoud Baumia. He understands our economy thoroughly. He's the one person that reduces the complexities of finance and economy to levels where even our market women are becoming more adept at economic interpretation. The team Nanado is leading, when given the chance, will be the team Ghana would want to lead it out of the confused state the nation is in now. So I am appealing to Ghana to vote for the 7th December for it to get the government the nation truly deserves.
Vote for change.
Let's talk sports now. The third edition of the National Para Sports Festival has taken place at the Community for Basketball Court in Tema. The theme for the celebration was PWDs for Peace and Justice before, during, and after the elections. The festival attracted various disability groups in the capital. It primarily sought to foster peace ahead of the December polls. Ludu was one of the disciplines. After a few games, Miss Joyce Doche emerged winner. In the wheelchair basketball competition, Team Sharif beat Alhaji Stars by 10 points to 2. The chief executive of Dan Divan Group of Companies, Mr. Daniel Niemensa, said the theme for the celebrations clearly reflected the stance of the disability fraternity. He said an extended version of the celebrations will be held on the 3rd of December 2016 at the Accra Sports Stadium. Ex-Black Stars left back Sam Johnson has led members of the Body Fitness Center at Dansoman for a 2-hour peace walk. The exercise was to help sensitize Ghanaians on the need for peace in the upcoming general elections on December 7.
With few days to the elections, the Body Fitness Center at Dansoman, under the leadership of ex-Black Stars left back Sam Johnson, has organized a fitness and awareness creation campaign in the area. The event attracted two of the aspiring members of parliament in the area, Mrs. Esla Usu-Ekufu of the NPP and NDC's Mrs. Dinah Chum and their supporters. The 2-hour walk was to demonstrate to the electorate the need to maintain peace in the country. The two aspirants urged their followers to be peaceful during and after the elections.
A sound mind resides in a sound body. So now that we have kept fit, we are ready for the 7th of December. I was holding an NPP flag. Elections are only an expression of opinion, and it is not a war. We are going to decide our destiny with our thumb, not our fist.
The assistant gym manager at the Body Fitness Center, Charles Owusu-Ansah, said the message of peace has gone down well with the electorate.
We organized it because we saw that during political times there's a lot of debate, arguments, accusations here and there. And as a fitness and a Body Fitness Center, we decided to bring all the MPs together. Whilst we are preaching health, we are preaching peace and unity also. For Ablikuma West, I can say the message has sung to them and they all know what they are supposed to do.
The Body Fitness Center says they will organize a victory workout after the elections.
On to the entertainment segment. Her first designs did not turn out quite as she wanted to, but Joyce kept on trying until her work began to catch the attention of her family and friends. Joyce decided that she could turn this into a business. A flip-flop decorated with beads in 2012 started the purple trend story. Showbiz on GBC24 got up close with Joyce Owusu. Here are highlights.
First of all, I would say that it was a passion that was birthed out of curiosity. It's been 4 years. It's been nice. It's been awesome. It's been a learning experience. It's been a bumpy, fun ride. I've come to realize that in this life, you don't always have to go by the books, the set standards. You need to go out of your comfort zone to do things that will bring out the best in you, than to do what you think everyone is doing that you need to do.
Okay.
If you're good at polishing shoe, go out and do it. You may never know. You become more popular and even do better than someone who hasn't been called to do shoe polish. There was this one time that I went to the bead store to buy beads and I saw these big stones. It was beautiful. I bought them, took them home, tried it. Trust me, I tried like 4 times before I got it correct.
I see.
And I can say that I haven't been to any school or training place to acquire training for what I do. Sometimes I see it somewhere and I challenge myself to try it, and that's how it's been. Sometimes I try to play with beads a lot of times, and I conceive my own ideas to do my own stuff. I've had the opportunity to work on projects, and with each time that I've had to work on any project, I challenge myself to do something new. First of all, when I started it for the fun purpose and people started to request for it, I realized that there was a market for it. So then, having realized that almost everyone was doing similar things and almost the same thing, I said to myself that let me do something out of the ordinary. Again, with the marketing background, I had to put together ways and means of getting my products out there.
It's been 1 hour of news. Thanks for joining us. It's a delight to always have you.
We'll be back at 10:30 for news tonight. Have a good evening.
As for today, we'll be playing